Hey everybody, Outer Galaxy Lounge here. I've been out for a long time, haven't made videos for a good while. I'm not going to say I was depressed. I wasn't. That's not quite the right word. But I was unmotivated, and the main reason was I was going through an issue with Amazon and my bank. Basically a felony was committed against me online, and it took 5 weeks to resolve it. I finally got it resolved in my favor, but it was nerve-wracking until that got resolved, and it made me not want to do anything online or anywhere else. And I didn't really want to talk about this because I don't even want to expose myself anymore to this nonsense. Needless to say, the outcome is that I will never ever sell or buy anything on Amazon again. I'm done with them. And as far as I'm concerned, I have no problem telling the rest of you to do the same. It's an evil company anyway to begin with. And the way they treat people, especially when they screw up, but is abysmal. It's an abomination. And of course there's no regulation on them because they're too big. And I want nothing to do with that company in my life ever again. I think they suck, and that's all I'm going to say about it. So anyway, in the meantime, I have bought some things. Some of them are in my sales inventory on eBay now. I'm only working on eBay for now. So I'm just going to start showing you some stuff. I don't want to be angry. So I got this Ravel, Daphnis and Chloe with Charles Dutoit and the Montreal Orchestra, Montreal Symphony Orchestra, a famous recording from the early 80s, an early digital recording. This is a smooth edge early pressing on Decca London. I don't know if you could see, I've tried to subdue the lighting a little bit so I don't have glare off of these things. The result of that might be that you can't see anything. But I bought this to sell because I already own this, of course. So I'm going to be selling that. I want to say that I bought all these discs and all these records except for one for $1. All right, this is Cho Lang Lin, the violinist, doing some Mozart violin concertos. I think it's number 2, and a couple other violin works, violin concertos for violin and orchestra. This is still sealed on Sony Classics, Sony Classical. I'm selling this on eBay because I can't justify keeping any more Mozart violin concertos. I have enough. And I do have to sell some of the things I buy. Got this very nice Vivaldi collection. It is a bunch of violin concertos with Shlomo Mintz and I believe the Israel Chamber Orchestra. It's 2 discs. No, it's 3 discs on Musical Heritage Society. And the original licensee, I don't know. I think it's Deutsche Grammophon, but let me check. Excuse me, it's Music Masters. Original licensee is Music Masters. You got 3 discs in here, and one of them's kind of popping out, so you know what they look like. They're very plain. Musical Heritage Society packaging is always very plain. But this is volumes 8, 9, and 10 of that series. This was $1 for 3 discs. Very nice item to get. Fills a lot of gaps for Vivaldi for me. Poulenc. We got some works transcribed for piano. We do have the concerto for 2 pianos and orchestra on here and some other piano works. This is Katja and Marielle Lebec, the Lebec sisters on Philips, with Seiji Ozawa conducting the Boston Symphony on Philips. $1. As it turned out, I already owned this piece. I already owned this recording, I should say. So I put one for sale on eBay. I tried to sell the best copy and keep the worst. Not that either one of them was in bad shape, really. Barber, Samuel Barber Symphony Number 1. This is Leonard Slatkin and St. Louis Symphony on RCA. There's a couple other works on here. The Piano Concerto fills a nice gap for me. I did not have this before, didn't have these works. John Browning is on the piano. A very nice item to find for $1. This is an oddball. I got this on Chesky, which are very hard to find, Chesky CDs. This is going to be Mozart's 35th and 41st Symphonies and Haydn's Symphony number 104. This is mainly the Royal Philharmonic, and you got 2 conductors. You got Joseph Krips and Rene Leibowitz doing these. These were probably originally put on, I think, Reader's Digest, but they're really good performances. The weird thing about this, unfortunately, I got this for $1, and these can go for $15 to $20, these Chesky CDs online. Some idiot put some kind of ring thing on this. It's actually raised, and you can't really see it. But the thing is this renders this unplayable in most CD players. I couldn't burn it. in a laptop because it won't accept a disc with this raised surface. So somebody, for whatever reason, has put something on here, glued it on here. When I saw this at the store, I just thought it was paint. I thought, oh, Chesky did some weird paint thing on this issue. But no, this is literally a three-dimensional object, basically, that's been glued onto the surface, label surface of this disc. And it only plays on one player, my Sony Walkman, which is a flat disc player. So, and you try to put it on a vertical mounting machine, it just jams in there. I tried to put it in my component, and it's like, nope, nope, you can't put that in, sorry. So I was torn about whether to take this back or not. I was able to rip this on an old iOmega CD ripper machine that is a 20-year-old machine. So I've got the music off of here because I couldn't get it off any other way. So I can at least put it on a USB and play it on my system through my Blu-ray player. But that's a damn shame because I could have sold this for a lot of money on eBay, and now I can't. So I'm still debating whether to take it back to the store and just get some other item, but it's a little bit far away for me to take it to that store. So anyway, we got The Rite of Spring with Antal Dorati. This is a Decca London recording. This is a great performance of The Rite of Spring. I already own this. I'm selling this. This is a really sharp, clear performance, you know, very fast. You know, Dorati tended to be fleet and quick and sharp in his interpretations, and this has all the hallmarks of that style of performance. So I always love this performance of it. I love many performances of The Rite of Spring. That's just one way to do it. We got Jacques Lussier and his trio doing jazz versions of Bach pieces for piano. This is called Jacques Lussier, The Best of Play Bach. So he had a whole series of records, recordings, I guess back in the 70s and 80s, where he played Bach works. And this is very nice. It's got, you know, typical Bach things there in a G string, toccata and fugue in D, the Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring chorale, and then the entire Italian Concerto, chorale number 1, the Chromatic Fantasy complete. So it's 70 minutes of music. They really filled this thing out. This is on, what is this on? This is on Chrysalis, but it's a reissue. It's been reissued many times on different labels, I think. So that kind of, I never had any Jacques Lussier before, so that's kind of nice to get. We got one of the great performances of the Alpine Symphony, the Alpine Symphony of Richard Strauss here, with Zubin Mehta and the Los Angeles Philharmonic on London Decca. This is a great one. I listened to this the other day. Really rich performance. Got a lot of weight to it. And better recorded, I think, than some others that I've heard. This one is a RCA Living Stereo release with Leopold Stokowski. It's called Rhapsodies. So you get some nice pieces by Liszt, Ionesco, Smetana, and Wagner. Let's see what we got. We got the Liszt Hungarian Rhapsody number 2. We got Ionesco's Romanian Rhapsody number 1. Smetana's Moldau and Bartered Bride Overture. And Wagner Overture to Tannhäuser and Prelude to Act 3 of Tristan und Isolde. RCA Living Stereo. I did not have this, so I'm glad to get that for $1. We're going to show you the records in a minute. I got vinyl records too. Now this is a very valuable CD. This is Handel's Water Music with Nicholas McGagan and Philharmonia Baroque Orchestra. This is on Harmonia Mundi, French Harmonia Mundi. This goes for a lot of money on eBay. It's very scarce. However, I'm keeping it because it was too good. I enjoyed it. It's a very kind of light original instruments kind of performance of these pieces, but I really like the transparency of it. It moved very well. It's got a spring to it. I really enjoyed it. It's a good alternative version. I don't know if it's showing up with the glare. There's a Harmonia Mundi disc. I feel like it's reflecting. Okay, how about that? Okay. So yeah, Nicholas McGagan, we're going to go with that. And then we got a Brazilian jazz guitar album here. We got Larry Coryell and John Abercrombie, who are very well known jazz guitarists, jazz fusion guitarists for many decades. Teaming up with a Brazilian singer instrumentalist named Baji Assage, I believe her name is. I have some albums by her already. So they're all playing guitar and she sings. A lot of times it's wordless vocals. A very pleasant record. Another valuable and not very readily available CD. This is kind of a rarity. It's also on Chesky. And Cheskys are very collectible and they always sound great. This one has great engineering on it, as we would expect from Chesky. Now here's one I thought I owned, but I did not own. This is Michael Tilson Thomas doing Gershwin pieces on Sony Masterworks. Excuse me, this was when it was Columbia Masterworks or CBS Masterworks. This is an early CD from the mid-'80s. It still has a smooth case. It was probably made in Japan or maybe Canada. I'm not sure what was pressed, but I want to show you something else. The previous owner, who obviously was an idiot and will believe anything, did. He put this green marker on the center and he also put it on the outside. I don't know if you can see that. He put green marker around the edge because there was this utter nonsense posted years ago that if you put green marker on the edges of CDs, they will sound better. You know, based on absolutely no science whatsoever, but people believe anything, as we know, and I won't get into all that, but so it doesn't affect the CD at all. I mean, the play area is way within the boundaries of this marker, so that marker is not going to hurt anything, but I can pretty much assure you that it won't help anything either. So whatever. I didn't own this. I did have another Tilson Thomas Gershwin disc, but it was the piano rolls of Gershwin with Tilson Thomas conducting. This is different. This is a Los Angeles Philharmonic, and it's got a lot on here. It's got the 3 preludes for piano, the Rhapsody in Blue, and several pieces that you don't commonly get, like Short Story and the violin piece and the Gershwin melody pieces. There are several of those on here that aren't common, like the 4 Lily Pons, who was an opera singer back in the day, and the second Rhapsody. So, kind of nice, an early CD on CBS Masterworks. I'll be keeping that. Now the records. You know, the funny thing was yesterday I was thinking I sure would like to find this item at the store, and I went to the store today and I'll be damned if it wasn't there. Petrushka, Stravinsky's Petrushka, performed by Eugene Goosens and the London Symphony on Everest. I think this was originally on Reader's Digest records in the early 60s. I think it was recorded around 1960, 1959, 60, somewhere in there. This is my favorite performance of Petrushka. It has a beautiful cover, it's in great condition, and I just played this today and the surface noise is very quiet. It's like for Everest, an Everest pressing to be this quiet was kind of shocking. I was very happy because I only paid $1 for this, and it has a beautiful cover. I love the performance. It captures the magic of Petrushka. You know, a lot of performances are very sharp and very competent, but there's a certain quality that I want in Petrushka that this performance brings out for me. It has a nostalgic quality to it, and it's a very serious performance. I think a lot of older conductors understood this piece better than newer ones do. I think technical proficiency isn't always what you want. You want a kind of magical atmosphere, and he captures it. Eugene Goosens does on this performance, and I love it. That's my go-to Petrushka recording. Picked this up, Taras Bulba of Leos Janáček, with the Czech Philharmonic and Karl Ancherl conducting. Also Sinfonietta. This is on Parliament. This is a Parliament pressing. Not a great pressing, but this is considered one of the great recordings of Janáček works. Taras Bulba and Sinfonietta with Karl Ancherl. And Dave Hurwitz highly recommends this. So yeah, I did play this. It is a little bit noisy. The surface is noisy. Much more noisy than the Everest, which I would not have expected, but I'm glad to have those performances anyway. Next up, I've got a Brazilian record, Claudio Roditi with Kenya, Red on Red. This was $4. It was $3.99, marked down. It had been sitting at half price for months at $8.99, and I really wanted this. I really wanted it badly, but I didn't want it badly enough to pay $9. I'm like, if I can just wait it out, if I can just have Zen patience, maybe I can snare this for less. And I waited, and 2-3 days ago, they finally marked it down to $3.99, and I snapped that baby up so fast. This is great. Claudio Roditi is a trumpet player. It's Latin jazz, Brazilian jazz. It's even signed by Claudio Roditi. It's autographed right here on the back cover. He's a great trumpet player, great jazz trumpet player, and a very great rhythmic trumpet player. He can weave in and out of the Brazilian rhythms like nobody else. It's so good. It's a really great rhythmic Latin jazz record. Very solid stuff. Good cover art. Good cover condition. The record's in good shape. And it's on a label called Green Street. I guess Sydney Green Street, but no, it's Green Street Records. Don't know anything about them. This was engineered by Rudy Van Gelder in 1984 and produced by Creed Taylor. So you know those are good credentials for some solid jazz. And that was a great find. Finally glad to procure that record. Finally, we got Luciano Pavarotti. We're coming into the Christmas season. We got Oh Holy Night here. Pavarotti and the National Philharmonic on London Decca. This has one of his famous recordings of Ave Maria on it, which is basically what I wanted it for. And you got the boys choir here. Kurt Herbert Adler conducting. Pretty good, clean pressing. It's a little noisy, but it is London Decca pressings from the 70s and 80s, and they're not always going to be great. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But it was fine. It didn't look like it was played too much. So that's it. That's our record show for today here on Outer Galaxy Lounge. And another thing is I'm looking at a video conversion device that they're selling up at Walmart, and I'm going to be buying that here within the next few days. And I'm going to test it and see if I can get some of these VHS tapes to properly convert so that I can start uploading some more of that material for you guys. That's all I got for you now. Have a good time. I didn't have a Halloween show, but happy late Halloween to all of you.